Good morning to my tribe people. Good morning. And is it a beautiful one? It is 11:30 on a Saturday. I got a little bit of time to do some things, and then I'm going to be doing something else this afternoon. So I'm not going to really dig in and make a work day out of it per se. I said to my wife this morning, isn't it kind of fun how you have a lifestyle where you feel like you're getting over on the rest of society because, well, I'm not going to work today. I'm going to take it easy today. And then you kind of forget about that when you come out and you start doing this and that. And before you know it, you've gotten a lot done. And I have gotten a lot done. And so I also thought of something too. And I thought this is a good thing to pass on to other homesteaders because it's coming. This is coming, right, in your life. And it's called the now what. The now what. Now what. And sometimes there's like a voice inflection on there, like, now what? Right? And I'm sure that people listening to this right now, because I see you there, John. You've been there. Now what? Like that comes in your life. And this morning I thought I was going to come out and just take it easy and do some fun things. And then I discovered something and I was like, well, now what? Right? And then as I started working through it and the fog cleared, from sleeping for like 8 hours last night because we worked hard here yesterday and, bed early and kind of slept in, it was light out when I got up this morning. So the now what is, I'll give you an example of it. And I learned how to deal with this a long time ago, but it's a good example to kind of fix in your head because when you get to the now what point, you have to look at it correctly, right? So in homesteading, or maybe my life, everything falls in a asset or liability column. Like it's either good or it's not good. If it's not good, we need to get rid of it. But as I've been getting more into homesteading, and I mean, I'm in deep right now, I start to realize that there's very few things that if I don't look at it from the correct point of view, don't have some asset characteristics. Or is that a word? Assetable characteristics? I mean, not everything is bad. Like you think of being here and it's like, oh, I stepped in this pile. Ah, that's bad. Well, no, that's actually good if you can deal with it properly. And as I'm telling you this, I'm looking behind the camera here and I'm seeing our new milk parlor. And there's one of them things sitting right there that somebody didn't clean up this morning after they milked. I'm sure they're going to be coming right back out to do that. But as you take on different processes in your homesteading career, so let's say everybody starts at chickens, it seems like, or maybe gardening, right? But let's just say chickens. You start at chickens and you've got 20 chickens and you're getting eggs and, you're sharing them with your friends and you're having eggs for breakfast all the time. You're starting to feel better, it's great. Omelets all the time and maybe you start eating better, just in general. I'm not meaning to show you that global warming generator behind me, but and then you realize, wow, look, I've got all this manure, this chicken manure. Now what? Well, it kind of leads into another process, believe it or not, because what's manure? Manure is a good source of nitrogen and other goodies too, but nitrogen for sure. And if you're gardening and you have a lot of refuse like we do out here, you know, that can be utilized. You can make a compost pile. And this summer, I got to a place where, man, I had this huge compost pile, and then I was like, now what? Now what? Well, that's easy. I broke out my spreader, my homemade spreader, and that was the result of another now what years ago when I had all this compost, and I was going out there with the loader and throwing it with a shovel. There's got to be a better way to do this. Oh yeah, you can buy this spreader. I mean, they got these spreaders out there that are $20,000. You can get you one of them. No, I could use $20,000 for, a new herd of cows, right? I don't want to be, So I made one anyway, and the one that I made worked really good. And I spread. You may remember a few videos ago, I spread 20 yards, 20 yards of manure on that field up there. And what that means, and you could step away from that and say, now what? Whoa! Whoop. That wasn't good. Sorry about that. I stepped on his tail, and then he attacked me. Now what? You can eat. So anyway, yeah, you're going to encounter the now what's as you go. And I think a lot of times you hit a now what and it's like, gee, I don't need this today. But step back from it for a sec. This is what I've learned to do, and that's why I'm passing it on. Step back from it for a sec and say, maybe I should be doing this differently. Maybe the universe is speaking to me right now and I need to do this differently. I could think of a great one to tell you about right now. We had our well, the expansion tank in the well started leaking and we had to change it. So me and Keith dug the whole thing up. Got it all out of there. The guy that put the well in, he says, no, this is how you do it. You just bury the whole thing. All right. He knew about wells. And so we got it all dug out. And then we put new PVC fittings on the bottom of the expansion tube that went into the well casing. And I thought, we better leave this hole open for a couple of days so that we can monitor that there's no leaks. Right? So we did. Well, it just so happens that particular night, my cows got out. And they wound up, they didn't leave the farm, but they were just out of where they were supposed to be. And that was when I was just running one big herd. There was milk cows in there and steers. They were just running together. And so it's night, and they don't know where they are. And so we're trying to get them moving back into a place where they know where they are and they'll be safe for the night. So we kind of start moving them, and it's dark, and they start running. Where do they run? Right towards that hole. And one of the steers winds up in that hole. It's a pretty deep hole. And he's kicking and thrashing about. Broke all that equipment just to pieces. And so then I said, and this is 10 o'clock at night on a Saturday night, not going to be any showers tonight, boys. Then I say, now what? Now what? Well, I had to go to thinking about it. Because it was Saturday, I couldn't get the parts I needed until Monday. So I start thinking about it, and I said, you know what? I'm going to build an enclosure that goes down into the ground, 6 feet, with a ladder that goes down to it. So that tank is sitting there with a top on it, that if something goes wrong, I can take that top off, and I can lift that tank out. I can do whatever I need in there. I can get down in there and just take a look at the switching, make sure the wires are all good, all that stuff. Actually, when we dug that out, there was a nest of skunks in there. So that was now what? Now what do we do? So you're going to have the now what's. And now, because of that incident, I have a well house out there that I could go out right now, lift the trap door, go down in there, and inspect everything and say, this will be good. This is good to go. So a lot of good came out of that because water on the farm is really essential for the humans that live here and the animals that live here. It's really essential to have that. So anyway, you're going to hit the now what's, and when you hit the now what's, there's always good that can come out of it. I wound up putting fertilizer or compost on the field, and so then we got a ton of hay. Now what? I can sell this, or I could get more cows. I get more cows, now I got more manure. Now what? I'll have more compost that I can spread on the field. It'll give me more hay, which gives me more milk and more beef. And now I got this surplus of dollars. Now what? Oh, I guess I'll get my wife that Cadillac she's been itching for, right? See what I mean? So instead of being in kind of approaching everything from a negative point of view, you approach it from a positive point of view, and you defeat the negative. You just defeat the negative. And I talked about this last week because there's so much negativity going around right now with current events that are going on, that they can affect your homestead, even though you don't have any rockets landing on you. You're not involved in that. That's something that's going on far away that you didn't have anything to do with, and you can't do anything about it really. But it does affect you. So I said, and I'll say again, for your mental health, you just acknowledge that that's going on, educate yourself on it, decide what's what, because it's a good exercise, because our media lies constantly. So it's a good exercise to figure out, what's going on, and then get back to business on that homestead. As a friend of mine said one time, evil is weak. Evil is weak. Continue to build. Remember, anyone can farm.